In this video, I'm going to give you a description of Boingnet drip nurturing campaigns, and then I'll demonstrate how to create a basic drip nurturing campaign. What exactly is this feature called the Boingnet drip nurturing campaign? Well, drip marketing campaigns are automated campaigns that maintain contact with possible consumers according to an organized, pre-scheduled time frame. The continued contact that drip campaigns offer is great for branding and elevating a product's visibility. And the process of creating higher quality leads in the hope of increasing sales is called lead nurturing. Boingnet combines the features of drip marketing with the features of lead nurturing into one easy-to-use campaign type called the drip nurturing campaign. When you create a drip nurture campaign in Boingnet, you create a campaign containing a series of steps. For each step, you define the criteria that determines which contacts will receive that step's email. A person's behavior during a given step, opening their email or clicking on their pearl, determines what type of communication they receive from you in the following step. You can even use behavior outside of the drip nurturing campaign, another email campaign for example, or variable logic, to determine the next step for a person. Here's how you create a basic drip nurturing campaign. From the main navigation bar, go to Campaigns and select Create New Campaigns. Next, select Create Drip Nurturing Campaigns. Assign a name for your campaign. Every drip nurturing campaign starts with a trigger. Select the trigger that's going to start your campaign from the drop-down menu. My drip nurturing campaign is going to start when a lead generation campaign using a lead form adds a new contact to my contact list. My contact list is my webinar campaign list. In the introduction, I mentioned that each drip nurturing campaign is a series of steps, and for each step within the campaign, you define a trigger that initiates that step. The first step of my campaign is going to be triggered when a contact's added to my webinar campaign list. I'm going to send an email to that person, inviting them to attend my weekly webinar. I'll show you how to set that up in a minute. For now, let's talk about the three other types of step triggers that you can use to trigger the next step. A step trigger checks the contact's behavior within this drip campaign to determine whether or not they get that step's email. And the choices are whether or not that contact has opened an email from a previous drip step or whether they've clicked on an email from a previous drip step. The second type of trigger is the campaign trigger. The campaign trigger checks behavior outside of this drip nurturing campaign, another email campaign for example, to see if the contact has opened the email from that campaign, clicked on the email from that campaign, opened or completed a pearl from that campaign. And the last type of trigger is the variable logic trigger. This trigger checks the individual's information on the contact list to determine if they get that step's email. For example, I can construct an if statement that checks the contact's state, and if the state equals Massachusetts, then they get this step's email. So to recap, a step trigger checks the person's behavior within this drip campaign to determine if they get that step's email. A campaign trigger checks the person's behavior outside this drip campaign in another email campaign to determine if that person gets the step's email. And a variable logic trigger checks the person's information on the contact list to determine if they get the step's email. Since each step in a drip nurturing campaign sends some type of an email, once you have your step trigger defined, the next thing you need to do is set up your email. My first step of this drip campaign is going to send an email to the contacts added to my contact list using my email template called Weekly Webinar Invitation. In the next two boxes, enter the from email address and the subject for this email. And once you're done with that, click Save Step to save this drip step. Click Add a Step to add a second step to the campaign. For step 2, I'd like to send a second email to everyone who opens my webinar invitation email from step 1. Because I'll be checking behavior within this drip campaign, this will be a step trigger. This step is going to send an email to everyone who opened my email from step 1. This email is going to use the template called Webinar Reminder, and it's going to contain information and a link to click on so the contact can attend the webinar. So again, I'll enter a from address and a subject for this email. And then I'll click Save Step. Finally, I'm going to add a third step to everyone from step 2 who clicked on the link to attend my webinar. Since this step will be checking behavior within this drip campaign, I'm going to define a step trigger for everyone who clicked on my email in step 2 to attend my webinar. I'm going to send them an email offering them a free month of service because I know they're interested in my services and products from attending my webinar. So I'll just select the email template, enter a from address, and a subject. And lastly, I'll click Save Step. Since this is the last step of my drip campaign, I'll also click Save Drip to save the entire campaign. And that's how you create a drip nurturing campaign in Boingnet. Now you should have a better understanding of how to use Boingnet's drip nurturing campaigns. These campaigns are designed to establish better qualified leads by nurturing each lead's journey through the entire sales process. Our lightweight platform allows you to easily create marketing campaigns that work without a lot of unneeded overhead and cost. If you'd like to get started with Boingnet, sign up for our free trial or give our team a call at 1-800-264-6420 or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.